Broadcasting from our subterranean studios in beautiful Paradise Valley, Pennsylvania, it's Business and Brain Tumor Talk, a unique show with topics to educate, inspire, and implement. Without further ado, here's your host, Rick Franzo.
Thank you, Amanda, and welcome to Business and Brain Tumor Talk. I'm your host, Rick Franzo. Today we have with us young entrepreneur, fresh-faced kid out of left field, right field, center field, I don't know, Jeff Gerger, CEO of Gerger Electric. How you doing, Jeff? Thanks for being here. I know that you're pretty busy. So, Jeff, you started your business how long ago?
3.5 years ago already.
Wow. So that was when you were in your early 20s, right?
Yeah, very early 20s.
Very early 20s. So this is Jeff. I coached Jeff for the last 2+ years on his journey through entrepreneurship. And it's been a lot of fun. But Jeff, I really want to know, did you grow up wanting to be an electrician? Was that like, were you playing with sockets and plugs and
Square D.
outlets, square D, wire nuts, whatever it is? What was it like? How did you become an electrician?
I got my start back in Votech. Throughout high school, I did Votech. Growing up, I knew I always wanted to work with my hands, but definitely never knew I wanted to be an electrician. I think I kind of grew up wanting to be a truck driver for some reason. But since then, I've gotten in the electrical field. Like I said, started back in Votech in high school. My freshman year, I did 4 years of that. Graduated from high school class of 2016, joined the local electricians union. That's a 5-year apprenticeship. So you work full time and go to school 2 nights a week. And in the 5th year of the apprenticeship, they kind of coach you on getting your master electrician's license. Mm-hmm. So I was able to achieve that. And then I gave it roughly another 6 months and kind of got fed up with management and everything else. And like you said, I was young, maybe a little young and dumb. It looked really easy, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I didn't have a lot to lose at the time. And the rest is kind of history.
So what really motivated you to start your own business, Gerger Electric, was you just you did 6 months, you get kind of sick of the culture of where it was that you were employed, and you said, you know what, this is probably easy. If this guy could do it, I can do it. And so you did it, right?
Yeah, basically. As I worked full time, I had a landscaping business on the side, and it's easier to, I was booked out for maybe a month, but all that work was being done on weekends. So 4 weekends is really only a week's worth of work, and I kind of saw myself excel there. So it kind of made me think, how hard could this be? But that was quashed pretty quick in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I realized how uneasy it is. But it's fun. The journey's fun.
It is. Is it always fun?
No.
No, of course not. Right? Let's not be silly. So when you started your business, what do you feel was the best thing about it? And then on the opposite side, what was your biggest challenge?
Definitely a lot easier on the challenge side. So originally I thought it was easy to advertise on Facebook, Nextdoor, all those kind of platforms where people would post looking for an electrician, and you post your name up there, and it's kind of just a lottery on who they pick. You're competing with anywhere from 10 to 15, maybe even 20 other people. And again, I was young. I didn't even know a sales process existed. I figure you show up, you're nice, you shake their hand, why wouldn't they want to go with you?
Sure.
And also, when I was in the electricians union, that is a lot of commercial and industrial work. So now I'm getting out of that, coming back into the residential world where I know how to get stuff done. Electricity is kind of basically the same, but now you're in somebody's house and you kind of need to explain how that's done. And my confidence level definitely wasn't there because I never did a lot of residential. So you're going there trying to sell yourself without a sales process and probably not acting that confident on how you're going to execute the problem. You probably don't look the best. So that was kind of the biggest challenge I saw.
And how about something that was really like everything you expected it to be? One thing that went really, really well.
I was in a lot better mood.
Yeah, no, so peace of mind, right?
Feel overworked, and I can kind of make my own schedule. Um, but that's about it. There wasn't a lot right off the bat that was great and everything.
So it was 2021 when you started your business, basically right after COVID, right?
Yeah, I believe it was September 2021.
Okay. So when you did it, you set up, you were, an LLC, you got your business and everything set. How
Yep.
did you get the word out about, Gerger Electric? Why you? What did you do? Did you do a lot of networking? Did you do a lot of like social media posts? Did you, uh, I don't know, cold call? What happened?
Probably about none of that. The first 6 months, like I said, it was just posting on Facebook and stuff like that. I didn't have a big following, and of course, my business is Gerger Electric, so I'm kind of just referring myself to other people and stuff like that. But 6 or 7 months in, I got introduced to a member of BNI, and at this point, I have no idea that any of that even exists.
Sure.
Um, a networking group, and I was invited, and at that point, I was kind of like, I had nothing to lose, but a lot to gain. I was kind of almost at the bottom, so I decided to join that. And in the beginning, I still didn't realize the importance of networking, but over time, I 100% realized the importance of networking and that relationships and all that are 100% of your business and how much work you get.
Just for the record, I saw Jeff when he first came into BNI. It was in the Lehigh Valley of Pennsylvania. We were in the same chapter, and I've been in BNI for quite a while. And Jeff came in, and the Jeff you see now is not the Jeff from like 2 or 3 years ago, right? Totally different cat right here. This Jeff is very well spoken, very engaging. Not to say that he wasn't before, but up in front of people, you're a good referral for you was more. Good referral for me is somebody that needs electrical. Jeff Gerger, Gerger Electric.
Yeah. What was it? The first meeting? I am an electrician, and that was
I'm an electrician. I am an electrician. Bravo. Right.
Yeah.
And so there's lots to learn. And this just doesn't go for younger entrepreneurs. This goes for seasoned entrepreneurs of any age. And we don't know what we don't know. So this was kind of a whole new world for Jeff. And it's really benefited him, the relationship marketing, the relationship sales process. So you were in business, you were getting referrals, you started to do bigger jobs, you were doing maybe wiring whole homes for people, you were for contractors, you were doing some larger projects, and it was going good. But then you thought, maybe I need somebody to come on board with you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that was already a year and a half ago at this point.
Crazy how that time went, right?
Yeah, I know.
So we did the interview process, and
Yep.
we got Jake, and good guy, younger than you, but eager to learn. An Army National Guard veteran, and served his time, and just wanted to learn electrical. So now you are the mentor, and he is the mentee. And
Yep.
so, how's all that going?
Again, another huge learning curve. So he came in 100% green, was working at Sheetz gas station prior, rarely ever swung a hammer before, probably. So taking that and turning him into the electrician that he is today, definitely takes some patience. I don't think I could have done it without a coach. It's tough.
It's hard to be an entrepreneur, and you've been in business now for 3.5 years. You're going to be in business for many years. The main focus of this is how many businesses fold after the first year, the second year, 5 years. Even I was meeting with somebody today, and he laid a fact on me that 75% of businesses fail by year 15 or right after. It's almost that threshold. So This is a company that I was with today that has been in business for a little over 20 years. And it's amazing the things that they still learn every day, that I still learn every day, and that you still learn every day. And so what are some of the assumptions you had when you came into being a business owner? Because this is always fun to talk about that. I know I had mine and you had yours, but what was it going to be like? Like you're like, I'm going to start my own business. And so here's what you assumed it would be like. Go.
Sunshine and butterflies.
Yeah. Little piece of candy, maybe bunny rabbits and,
Yeah.
just rainbows and unicorns and all those things. It was going to be nice.
Yeah. Um, I definitely thought it would be easy. And my vision from when I first started my business to what my vision is now has completely changed. When I first started it, I would call it now a glorified job. I never saw myself having employees or more than one van on the road. I never really had that goal, we'll say, but maybe I also thought that it wasn't really possible for me.
Yeah.
But that definitely changed pretty quick into business as well. I realized that I envision it a little bit bigger than it is now with a few more vans on the road. So the mindset from just being myself, I kind of just envision it as something kind of easy, not a lot of problems, and I could go on vacation when I wanted to. I could go out to dinner, hang out with friends when I wanted to. If I wanted to work on a Saturday and Sunday, I had that option. If I wanted to take the weekend off, I wanted to take a Wednesday off, I could. Um, Stuff like that. But that has all definitely kind of changed.
So the reality is that you have to be present in the beginning all the time.
Yeah.
You're doing the heavy lifting and you have to wear
Mhm.
all the different hats. And so you were doing your own books, you were doing marketing, you were doing networking, you were doing the work, you were doing the maintenance on your trucks. You were pretty much a catch-all, one size fits all for your business. You were it.
Don't remind me of that. I remember the Saturdays of logging receipts and stuff.
Yeah, and so you're like, well, I guess that's the way life is, and I guess this is a
Yeah.
job, and I hate my job, but there's nowhere else for me to go without putting my hat in my hand and saying, you know, please take me back or
Yeah.
whatever, right? So you've been in business for a couple of years now, right? We're talking about like last year. You made the jump to hire somebody. So now somebody is responsible for you,
Yeah.
right? Or you're responsible for them, and not just them, but now, they have growing families. You've gotten engaged, so your family is growing, and so life is going on.
Mhm.
Uh, where do you see the evolution moving forward?
I mean, going back to what you said on the whole keeping books and all stuff like that, that was another lesson that I learned is to delegate.
Yeah,
Originally, you think you kind of have to do everything. Maybe it's finances. I look back and I remember when I had to make like $800 a week to break even, and maybe I was too scared to pay a bookkeeper or something like that. But that quickly changes. Now the overhead is much more. You have much more to support, many more people relying on you. That you quickly realize that you need to delegate and that you can't do everything. Especially when it comes to growing families. I can't. If everybody has kids when we go home, you can't be at home at the desk until midnight counting receipts and doing stuff like that. So I quickly learned. It might have taken a while with your push to start delegating, give somebody my books, let them take care of it. The marketing as well. I still do quite a bit of that, but to delegate where we can. So yeah, that was another huge lesson.
People in the trades are very alike in a lot of ways. They're very independent. They're very much problem solvers, and they're very much I can do this myself. And they find that uh, they're not just staying still, but they're going backwards. So it does take other people to leverage some things out, so bookkeeping and marketing and things like that, for us to concentrate on what it is that's important, which is beyond keeping the lights on, but you know, growing the business, working more on the business and in the business. Still, we have to go out there and do the work, and but it's really important. And one of the lessons that is kind of learned or not by entrepreneurs is you have to be able to manage your priorities and things like that. So let's talk about some of the jobs. What is probably one or two of the most interesting jobs that you've done, and what did that entail?
So an interesting one we just finished up is a really old farmhouse. Can't exactly give you a date, but it's an original farmhouse that this family grew up in as a kid. Over the years, it's obviously fallen apart and everything. And now they completely redid it on the inside, did it right, a complete gut, rewire, everything like that. So that's been really fun to be a part of, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the end product of that and see what it, because they're kind of bringing it back to what it originally looked like back many, many moons ago. So that'll definitely be really cool to see.
That's very neat. Very neat. Anything else come to mind?
I mean, one of our favorite things to do is new homes. I love seeing it come from an empty lot in the ground, getting the power service there, seeing the framing go up, and then all the new wiring, and see it come to fruition to a brand new house and see the family enjoy it. So,
Very cool. That's really neat. What are some of the most common electrical gaps that you see when you go into a home? So is it was done by the homeowner themselves, maybe somebody that didn't understand electrical, maybe they is there fire risks? And you're a fireman, you're a volunteer fireman as well. What are some of the things that you help to people to stay safe in their homes?
one of the biggest ones that come to mind are older electrical panels. So there's um, Sylvania, Federal Pacific, Challenger, Zinsco, and a couple more that I might be forgetting. They're the brand of your electrical panel. Those were recalled back in the early 80s, 90s, but they were never able to all be replaced and everything. So a lot of them still exist. So that's a big fire risk. Um, Going along the main, the same thing in your main electrical panel. If you see rust and stuff like that, water's getting in somewhere. It's pretty amazing what water can do and how it gets into your electrical service like that. So that's a big one. Um, and then just outlets and people using space heaters and stuff like that. That should always be double checked by a licensed electrician and kind of given the green light that that can handle that load.
Something that hit the news today is so we talk about smoke detectors and everything else. You install smoke detectors and CO2 detectors.
Yep. Yeah.
So one of the things that just hit the news today, very very tragic, is actor Gene Hackman, who was 95 years old. He and his wife and their dog were found, deceased in their New Mexico home that they'd been in for quite a while. He retired from acting about 20 years ago. There is no known cause of death. It's still being investigated, and I'm not speculating here, but no foul play was noted. So quite possibly it could have been carbon monoxide or something like that based. So how often do you find that not only as an electrician but a firefighter that these things could actually happen? And again, a disclaimer: I'm not saying that's how Gene Hackman had passed, but um, what do we see? Is that really as big of a danger? And I'm not talking about people running their generators in indoors and things like that, which people do,
Yeah.
right? Which is whatever. But what do you see as some of the causes of that, and how do we remediate that?
Yeah. Carbon monoxide is huge, and a huge danger, obviously. As being a firefighter, we did see a few years ago batteries installed wrong in all the detectors and stuff like that. So they obviously weren't working. And long story short, if these 30 college girls had went to bed that night and kind of just chalked up the alcohol to being bad or something like that and just took their illness and laid their heads to rest, there would have been probably 30 losses that next morning. Major CO leak and like I said, the batteries were installed backwards, detectors were wrong, and stuff like that. So CO is huge. Any new home and renovation like that is all going to have a CO detector on each level of the house and stuff like that. So it is now code. But obviously, there's tons of older homes out there that don't have them. But I would advise definitely get them along with your smoke detectors.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. One of the questions that I wanted to ask is if anybody, but let's just talk about younger entrepreneurs wanted to, have their own business. What are some strategies that you would give them based on what you've seen in the last 3.5 years? What would you say to somebody that says, Jeff, I want to start my own business? And not you saying, don't do it, but
Yeah.
yeah, bad idea. What would you say to them to help them to realize a better path to success, right? Without they're going to have to, they're going to have to get, knocked around a little bit. Everybody does, and there's no way around that. Most of it is self-inflicted, but what would you offer as some sort of advice to them?
So figure out what you envision, whether it be like I said, and it could always change. If it's one van, a job for yourself, a crew of 5, a crew of 100, 10, 20, whatever. Figure out what you envision and get that on a piece of paper. Give it your all. If you envision a crew of 5 or something like that, it's going to take your all. You might be able to skirt by if you just want to have a glorified job where you can go on vacation. You might be fine just skirting by with the bare minimum. But if you anticipate a crew and a real business, you got to give it your all. You're going to have to sacrifice some stuff, and it's going to be tough in the beginning, but it is what it is. And lastly, network. That network. Probably do that before you even think about quitting your job. Get those connections started because those are critical and crucial.
Solid advice. I like that. Very valuable. One last question before we go to how people can contact you is, what does success look like to you? What is your definition of success? What does it look like for Jeff Gerger and Gerger Electric?
Having a nice family, being able to support them, go on vacations, and on the business end, have a crew of guys that you care for. They rely on you. You're able to take care of them. They know you're always there for them, and they do the same for you.
Excellent. That's fantastic. How can people reach you if they need some CO2 detectors, or if they have a Challenger box like me and it needs to be replaced? It was really good to have an electrician come in and really do an assessment of our home and show us some things that maybe weren't up to par after 30 some years of being here. We had this house built back in 1990, so it's pretty much 25 or 35 years old, and so it needed a little bit of brushing up, and you guys absolutely did that. But how can people get a hold of you if they need to take a look at their electrical?
Yeah, so you could visit us at Gerger Electric. That's GERGER electric.com, or you can call or text me at 610-393-3389. And always can visit us on Facebook at Gerger Electric and Property Maintenance.
Excellent. And so what's the tagline? What do you guys do? We keep
the lights on.
Keep the lights on. Awesome. Thank you, Jeff, for being here. I appreciate it. Some really good information and possibly some life-saving information for your home. And, young entrepreneurs, if you're thinking of starting a business, this is an episode for you. Jeff, thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure. And
Thank you.
Thank you. No, this was awesome. And this has been Business and Brain Tumor Talk. I hope everybody has a great day. Stay gold. Peace.